Jobs as an employer. The second section is leading up to him as a boss. Given what you know about him now, everything you did in your analysis above, what about conflict management, ethical considerations, basically everything else you learned in the minor that you do as a leader, do you need to bring to working with him? So, how are you going to lead up to him to make him more successful as a boss? And what do you need to be thinking about from that angle? Then the final section is leading across to your peers as you as a team are trying to be successful with him. You'll notice that I've given some recommendations of what the slide content could be. That is not you have to do it this way, but it's a way for you to be able to see how to use your content from the minor to successfully think about your work with a future employer. In this case, the simulation is to apply it to Steve Jobs. That would be one outline. If you think that there's something else that you and your team thought were important about this to communicate, then do the same. For each of these slides, you're going to have an image and plan to talk 2 to 3 bullet points or ideas, concepts that picture prompts for you to speak to. Hope that makes sense. Okay. If you need any questions on that, have a conversation with me after class, any of the future classes that we have, or put it in the discussion. Okay? Bottom line is each one of you will do your own 20 slides, so there will be 3 separate teams of slides that will be used. And in those 3 teams, you'll answer those 3 questions any way you think best, but this is one way to do that. Last but not least, the other thing that I know that you're a little bit nervous about is this notion of the final. Here is exactly what your final will be. Your final is here. You will find an access to what Hannah's portfolio looks like. In submitting your final, please do it within your portfolio. You're going to update your About Me section for your portfolio, putting your most recent va-va-voom and your most recent resume. And yes, I know that you prepared a resume for today. The goal is for you to be able to look at it based on what you were hearing from your 2 speakers and take that to the next level for when you're submitting it. So you'll submit it here. Then you'll put your final leadership statement here. The instructions are later in this document. But that's going to be taking everything that I'm giving you feedback on later this evening and putting it into here's what you need to hear from me about what I think about leadership and everything I've learned in the program. Then you're going to do your post-college blueprint worksheet. And you're going to add that under the 450, 451 section of your portfolio. And then you're going to organize the LSM content in your portfolio in this order. You have your personal leadership statement that you're finishing, your post-college, and it's your gap analysis self-assessment worksheets that we passed out earlier this semester. And then your priorities. Here's your gap analysis, and for each of these skills, rate yourself and examples where you've used them. For each of these practices, give examples where you used it in college and rate yourself. And then your plan for how you're going to go forward. And then this serves as what has to be in your portfolio. And it's a checklist of what has to be present in your portfolio when you submit it to me. It's not everything you've done in your portfolio in the past, but it's what must be present in your portfolio for the end of 451. That's what you will be finishing before you go to my house during finals. That gives you the chance to ask some questions at the final meeting, and you will submit just the link to your portfolio, and I will review your portfolio for these pieces. And overall, looking at those other things to see if you've improved your grades so that it might result in a higher score. The feedback that you're getting on both your conceptual synthesis maps and your answers to the big questions, and the feedback that you'll get on your project allows you to have a really clear understanding of how to submit your final portfolio and to get the best grade you possibly could, but more importantly, how to use what you've learned across the minor to be a better leader. I hope this helps. I look forward to questions in the discussion section.